From high in the beautiful Pocono Mountains, Spectra Communications and On Pit Road Teleproductions at the Pocono International Raceway present the Miller High Life 500. The Miller High Life 500 is brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Goodyear Eagle Tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference. And by Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter, takes time to make, time to enjoy. And by Purolator Oil Filters, the first name in oil filters.
And by Superflow Motor Oil from Exxon. People who know go with the flow.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pocono International Raceway for today's Miller High Life 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race. I'm Pat Patterson, and let me say happy Father's Day to everybody across the country as we get ready for NASCAR's best here in the Pocono Mountains, and the beautiful Pocono Mountains it is. Now, this particular field assembled here at Pocono is the fastest NASCAR field ever assembled. 2 years ago, the slowest car in the field would have sat on the pole. Now, a man that can tell us a lot more about the racetrack and will be with me in the booth all day today is my co-anchor, Bob Ladford. Bob, this track is so distinctively different. 3 different kinds of turns demand so much from the crews.
It does. Each turn is not only different banking, it's different radius. Each straightaway is a different length. So the gearing of the car, the springs, the shocks, all the elements are so vital to a good performance for the full 500 miles. Another element being this Father's Day, it was 38 years ago up in New York that Pappy Huff and his son Lee ran together in a NASCAR race. Now, since then, we have 8 father and son combinations that have competed against each other on the Winston Cup circuit, and it should be an extraordinarily competitive race.
There's a lot of money on the line as well. We're almost halfway through the Winston Cup season, and some lucky driver is going to win more than $100,000 as we get halfway.
Be $150,000 to the point leader following the 400-miler Daytona in July, and there's $478,000 today. So there's a lot to be concerned with. I think if anybody has trouble, you'll see them making repairs, trying to get back out on the track, pick up those points, complete those laps as much as possible. It's going to make it an extraordinarily competitive race.
Well, it's an absolutely beautiful day. The weather conditions here, mid-80 temperatures. We have some clouds that are just barely moving around, and we have a nice breeze that's going across. We're going to come back and meet the third member of our broadcast team in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Last year alone, over 60 major racing championships were won with the Goodyear Racing Eagle, the race-winning technology that helped develop these tires. Can be found in these tires, the Goodyear Eagle Street Radials, the best-selling performance tires in the world. Goodyear Eagles, because there really is a difference.
Annual Miller 500 worth $478,000. The man on the pole is with our third member of our broadcast team, Bill Hennessy.
Alan Kulwicki won the pole at a record speed, 158.806 miles per hour. For Alan Kulwicki, though, there's got to be a question mark in his mind about today's race. They expired an engine late yesterday in practice. It wasn't until 7 o'clock this morning they got the engine in the garage area to change it. The engine change, will it affect your strategy for today's race, Alan?
Well, it really messed up our practice schedule. We didn't get the test tires or brake pads or anything like that, but basically our strategy is to run this race as hard as we can and stay out of trouble, and I don't think the engine change is going to affect that. This one should run just as good as the other one, so we're looking for a good run today.
Do you think you can win this race after what happened to you last year here?
Yes, I do. We've been close just about everywhere we've been this year. And our car seems to be running well here. We haven't had a chance to practice it in race setup, and that's going to hurt us a little bit. It may take us a little while to adjust it, but it's a long race here, and I definitely think we have a chance.
Best of luck, Alan. I know you're anxious to go racing here this afternoon in the Pocono Mountains. Back up topside to Pat Patterson and Bob Latford.
The field is on pit road now. We're awaiting and here we have it. The command to fire the engines has been given here at Pocono to get ready for the 7th annual Miller 500. And Bob Latford, I got to believe that Alan Kulwicki will be nervous up there on the point with a motor that he has no idea what's going to happen.
It's tentative time for them. As you said, also the more important factor, those brakes not being seated in can really be a real challenge. You have to get on the brakes here almost every corner.
They're going to be pulling away in a moment. The action will continue in the Miller High Life 500 at Pocono International Raceway. We'll be back right after this local message.
All week long, you've been thinking about today.
Pocono International Raceway, where the field is now pulling away off of the pit road. Number 7 Xerox Ford Thunderbird of Alan Kulwicki on the point. And Bob Latford, it is a beautiful, beautiful sight in the Poconos. This area itself is so rich, and the just super crowd that Joe Mattioli has here today, it's impressive.
The start of the race has been delayed slightly just because of the crowd, the size of it, the traffic backup, the people trying to get in the gates, so everybody can be here to see it. And as you say, it is probably one of the most beautiful settings, natural settings in the whole circuit. Anywhere we go, right here on top of the mountain area. This time of year is also a great ski resort in the winter when we cannot race here.
Well, the 7 car of Alan Kulwicki there in the middle of your screen. The 25 car of Ken Schrader on the outside as we are working the first pace lap here at Pocono International Raceway.
That's the defending winning team here, too.
Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. And now let's take a look at the grid for today's race. As we told you, the pole sitter, Alan Kulwicki. Outside row number 1 will go Ken Schrader. There's row number 2, Jeff Bodine, the Levi Garrett Chevrolet, along with the number 9 car of Bill Elliott. That's the Coors Milling Ford Thunderbird. Row number 3, Terry Labonte in the Budweiser Junior Johnson Chevrolet, along with Davey Allison, the number 28 car. That's the Haviland Star Ford Thunderbird.
In the 4th row, we see Neil Bonnet, a former winner here in the Valvoline Pontiac. Beside him, youngster Rick Wilson out of Bartow, Florida, in the number 4 Kodak Oldsmobile. The 5th row, Darrell Walter, a multiple-time winner here, coming off the 600 win earlier last month in the Tide Exxon Chevrolet. Beside him, 26, Ricky Rudd, still suffering from that sprained knee, and the number 26 Quaker Buick. Row 6 will be Phil Parsons, winner at Talladega this year. Beside him, the Darlington winner earlier this season, Lake Speed.
All right, we're just about ready for a start. Alan Kulwicki now pulling his car into turn number 3. He'll be looking for the front straightaway. Harold Kinder, we have an honorary starter down in the starter stand. The field is set, and we have a green flag. We are racing in the 7th annual Miller 500. Ken Schrader sticks a nose out in front of Alan Kulwicki as the field rolls by. Kulwicki, as we thought, will probably drop back now. Kulwicki has got a 3rd car coming up on the side. That's Jeff Bodine. Schrader dives down into turn number 1, and Schrader will lead them through the first turn. Kulwicki pulls right up on the bumper of Ken Schrader. Jeff Bodine rolls into 3rd position. Now Kulwicki pulls up almost to a nose to the left side of Schrader's car, but Ken Schrader is on the move. Jeff Bodine now pulls to the inside of Alan Kulwicki. Bodine, the Levi Garrett Chevrolet, and Bill Elliott watches the melee up front now as he watches the first 3 cars come into turn number 2. Schrader comfortably out in front by a couple 3 car lengths. Jeff Bodine, a teammate, if you will, is following in the 2nd spot. We got a spin back on the backstretch. A spin back on the backstretch. The caution flag will wave as Ken Schrader and Jeff Bodine will race
Bobby
back
Allison,
to the flag.
Bobby Allison involved along with Jocko Majocco, the number 63 car. Both of them into the wall there in turn 2. Now there's a new apron down there on the inside of that 750-foot radius, 8-degree bank turn. The emergency equipment is moving to scene very quickly.
And we have, actually, we did not complete the first lap. We didn't complete the first lap under green as Ken Schrader did bring the field back to the yellow flag. as we had a spin on the backstretch. There you see Schrader and Bodine now slowed down considerably to work around the incident back on the backstretch. The caution flag is out here at Pocono International Raceway. We'll be back with more action in the Miller High Life 500 right after this message. Okay, your leaders at this point as we get ready for a green flag. Ken Schrader's up front. Bill Elliott is second in the second spot. Terry Labonte is third. Davey Allison is fourth. Neil Bonnet is fifth. And the field about to come out of turn number 3. They'll accelerate the motors. Look down to Harold Kinder. We have a green flag. We'll go back to racing here at Pocono. The 7th annual Miller 500. Schrader, in a single file restart, will lead the cars down into turn number 3. There you see the Budweiser car of Terry Labonte pulling around the Coors car of Bill Elliott as the first 3 drivers enter turn number 3.
This track is 60 to 100 feet wide around its surface, and they're using a lot of it here on that front stretch.
You see the 3 leaders there running. Ken Schrader, the 25 car, the number 9 of Bill Elliott, and the number 11 of Terry Labonte. Evenly spaced as the field is spreading out quite a bit on a single file restart. Schrader out of Missouri has no wins this year, no Winston Cup victories. There you see the 17 of Darrell Waltrip, the 75 of Neil Bonnet, and the 26 of Ricky Rudd. That is your second pack. There you see Bill Elliott putting a bumper right to Schrader. Put the bumper right on to Schrader, the 25 car. Schrader now exits turn 3 with Bill Elliott right on top. Terry Labonte sticks in the 3rd spot, and he'll watch the front 2 as they come back to the stripe. Complete lap number 11.
Yes, Labonte is 3rd in the race and 3rd in the point standings. He needs to get a good finish here to keep moving up. And unfortunately for Bobby Ellison, that accident, he was 6th in the point standings going into this race, and could have used a good finish here to try and move up.
There your front.
And we got oil down in 1.
Another
There's
spin.
Accident in 1.
We've got another spin down on the racetrack. We've got cars everywhere. Cars are everywhere, as you see everybody scrambling to get by. If we've got 2
Lake
cars.
Speed, Buddy Baker involved. Dave Marcus, Ernie Irvin, all those cars involved. They're still on the track down there. And
we see the Miller. We still see the Miller car, which was involved in our first caution flag. We now have a second caution flag here at Pocono. Down in turn number 1, we were coming up to complete lap number 12. There you see the 83 of Lake Speed. He's back underway. The number 2 of Ernie Irvin is also moving. The Dave Marcus car remains up against the wall in turn number 1. And that's a tough break for Dave Marcus. Again, you see the Allison car being towed into the garage area. The second caution flag of today.
And
on lap
see
number
very
12.
graphically there how they did indeed have to cut out those driver's side roll bars in the door. There's Dave Marcus, number 71, the Lifeboy car, up against the wall.
All right, I think we're going to get a chance to see this one more time, exactly how this second caution flag. There you see, it looked as if 2 cars just went up to the wall. Marcus
like Rick Wilson.
Looked like Rick Wilson.
The yellow car was in there first.
Got in behind Dave Marcus and spun Marcus as he appeared to have, almost missed the caution flag. Rick Wilson's car is on
Obviously,
the pit
Derek
road.
Koch was also involved. We see a lot of front end damage as he dives into the pits.
Marcus has had terrible luck. He crashed in the World 600 recently, the Dover, Delaware race, and now another bad one here at Pocono. Rick Wilson, that's the Kodak Film Oldsmobile being worked on.
And we see damage to Lake Speed's rear end on the
a number of cars on the pit road. There's Marcus now starting to pull away.
Just using the car's inertia to move down the track.
We're going to take a look at it one more time as it happened. There's you
the blue
see
car.
Marcus.
There's Marcus up front.
And apparently it was Marcus.
And there's Rick Wilson, the yellow car right behind him. Ernie Irvin right behind him in the 2.
Because of the tire smoke that was coming out, you really can't tell for sure from that angle whether Marcus either popped a tire there and Wilson was trying to avoid him, or the other way around, or may have lost an engine there.
Where those cars are spinning, it very well could be engine, and that's oil and water they're spinning in behind him.
Well, while the caution flag is out here at Pocono International Raceway, let's take time out. We'll be back with more action in the Miller. It's showtime one more time as Harold Kinder throws a green flag. Ken Schrader rushes out to a 4-car jump on second place Bill Elliott. Terry Labonte rides in the third spot. Fourth is Davey Allison. Fifth to Neil Bonnet. We have them going 3 wide down the front stretch, and Ken Schrader will take them down into turn number 1. That turn has been changed since last year. There is a little more of an opportunity for the driver to take the car extremely low. Now we see Schrader really showing his muscle and stretching it out over Bill Elliott. Elliott, the number 9 car, chasing this man, the number 25, Ken Schrader, in the Rick Hendrick-owned Folgers Chevrolet. Kenny Schrader, Bill Elliott back in the second spot. We see Buddy Baker making a pass on Ken Bouchard. Ken Bouchard, one of our Rookie of the Year contenders for the Champion Spark Plug Rookie of the Year. Baker making a pass, the number 88 Oldsmobile, the Red Baron car. He looking for a win this year more than ever. You see Schrader coming out of turn number 3. The number 9 Elliott car is beginning to pull up on Schrader. The 11 of Terry Labonte right behind. As you see him lined up nose to tail from the start-finish line, they'll shuffle off back down into turn number 1. And I think at this point, Bob, what may be happening is many of these drivers are just simply want to get the feel of the racetrack. We've had no green flag laps to speak of, which means that the drivers obviously have got to feel the car a little bit to see if that chassis setup is correct and to see if the tire stagger that they have working is actually doing its job.
Right, and the other factor that's very important at this time of the race is they want everybody to settle down. These guys are pros. They know they're not going to win the race the next 5 laps. What they want to do is settle down, let the traffic spread out a little bit, so that we do not, if there is an incident, it's not a multi-car incident, again, because we're just so tightly packed.
Certainly, and Bill Elliott, now you see, was running in the second spot with Terry Labonte. The 25 of Ken Schrader is the leader. Elliott apparently is working extremely well down in turn number 3. He pulls right up on the leader. You'll see him come nose to tail right by the start-finish line. And maybe the guy to be watching right now is the number 3 car of Dale Earnhardt. He started in the 18th position, has pulled all the way up to the 6th spot. Earnhardt running extremely well, getting up through the field. A number of caution flags have allowed him to move up because he did not come on the pit road. We're watching the leader, 25, Ken Schrader, as he exited turn number 1, headed for turn 2. A 3-turn course here at Pocono. Much different than what we've seen before. Now, here we see Earnhardt. Earnhardt follows the number 75 car of Neil Bonnet. That's the Valvoline Pontiac, another on the walking wounded list, if you will, in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. The king of stock car racing, the bright blue and orange of Richard Petty, now pulling up on the rear of Earnhardt. There's the leader, number 25, Ken Schrader. Let's see if Elliott is going to pull up as he did. No, he doesn't have the advantage that he did have. But you notice the way Elliott was working so well down into the turns, Bob.
Yes, and 154.7 on that last lap for Schrader, our leader, as we come on down there again. Remember that as we talked about the point battle, there are 5 points for leading a race at all, and another 5 points for leading the most lap. They are looking at those bonus points.
Now you see the number 11 of Terry Labonte. That's the Junior Johnson prepared car. He's in the 3rd spot behind Elliott. Meanwhile, that second pack behind Terry Labonte is really mixing it up, trying to catch up to the field. There's Dale Earnhardt. He is bidding for his 3rd consecutive Winston Cup championship. Neil Bonnet in the 75 Valvoline Pontiac is following behind the number 3 car, the 43 of Richard Petty. Also, a gentleman that I think appropriately this day was made for Father's Day because he certainly is a father of this particular sport. 25, Schrader, out of turn number 3 now. Bill Elliott with a comfortable margin. Schrader with a comfortable margin over Elliott at this point. Terry Labonte sticks in the 3rd spot. The racing back in the pack is very good between Jeff Bodine, Richard Petty, Rusty Wallace, and Dale Earnhardt.
To say a big margin is about 72 hundredths of a second from Schrader back to Elliott. But in this circuit,
that is a big margin.
Big margin.
It's very correct. There you see the battle for second place. That is the battle for second place. Number 9 of Bill Elliott, number 11 of Terry Labonte. And Schrader has really stretched out that lead.
Almost a beer war is going on out there. The Coors car and the Budweiser car battling it out in the Miller 500.
The number 25 car of Ken Schrader certainly appears to be the best working of the field right now, as his car is certainly dialed in through the corners. I'm impressed with how low Schrader seems to take the left nose of the car, sticks it right down to the bottom of the racetrack. As you see Bill Elliott do the same thing, lets the car veer out towards the wall, runs right down beside the wall under Harold Kinsey's starter stand. And you know, this track was the place where we designed this snake move out of turn 3 to to break the draft on certain.
Right, Neil Bonner's the one who actually developed that, and the commentators that day, certain Scotsman was saying that he didn't know what he was doing, but he went on and won the race anyway.
All right, let's take a timeout right now. The action will continue in the Miller High Life 500 at Pocono International Raceway right after this message. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway for this exciting NASCAR Miller High Life 500, the 7th annual. This is your lead car, the number 5 of Jeff Bodine. That's the Levi Garrett Chevrolet, prepared out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Bodine is your leader. He passed Schrader earlier to get the lead. There on the pit road, we see the Citgo Ford Thunderbird of Kyle Petty. Here's the king of stock car racing, Richard Petty, the STP, number 43 Pontiac. His cousin Dale Inman, the crew chief on that particular car. They'll change right side tires. Jack Man goes around to the left side of the car. And they'll do a 4-tire change on Richard Petty. Now here we see Bobby Hillen Jr. in the Miller Buick coming out of the pit area, followed by Mike Waltrip. We just saw that pit stop just a moment ago, the 30 car. You can't miss Waltrip's car on the racetrack. I mean, that's about as yellow as yellow.
That's a bright yellow.
It certainly is. Let's go down and check up on all of the action in the pit area. Here's Bill Hennessy.
Giacomo, an update on him. He walked into the track hospital on that collision a little earlier with Bobby Allison. He seems to be okay. Just a few moments. Matter of fact, this lap, your leader, the 5 car, Jeff Bodine, will be making it down the pit lane. In case you were wondering about the 7 car, Alan Cole-Wicki, he's got ignition problems. The engine from prototype just didn't come up to snuff here at Pocono this afternoon. But the 5 car, Bodine, his crew standing behind me. They're poised, they're set, and they're ready to come in and service a car that is obviously getting excellent gas mileage here this afternoon. He should be coming down the pit lane right now. Here he is. Bodine is in. He started this race on neutral tires. They're going to put 2 on the right side of the car. The car receiving Union 76 racing fuel. Jack on the right-hand side is going to be going down in just a second. There's still fuel to move on, and he's away. A very quick pit stop, less than 17 seconds for your leader, car number 5, Jeff Bodine.
As a matter of fact, Bill Hennessy, it was less than 17 seconds. 16.87 seconds on that pit stop for the Waddell Wilson Levi Garrett crew. We watch Bodine now pull out onto the racetrack, and of course we have a new leader as Bodine pitted. That will be the number 9 of Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott has assumed the lead after that pit stop by Jeff Bodine.
And that was right on schedule. That was 40 laps since he topped off the tank, 100 miles. So he has a 10-lap advantage on most of the competition now for the rest of the distance, unless a caution interrupts that schedule.
Well, let's check that, because Elliott had already been in the pit, so really I think we'll check with scoring, and I think the 5 car is still the leader. I think the 5 would be still the leader, because I think he had the field a lap down because of how long it took him to pit the car. We'll double check that and find out. We'll check the scoring and let you know in just a moment. As we watch the field work over out of turn number 2, that's Bill Elliott. You're seeing there in the front of the screen. Rusty Wallace right behind. There is Bodine, followed by Morgan Shepherd. Petty now takes a look at Baker once again. Pulls up within a car length. Ken Schrader pouring the heat to the 43 car right behind the 25 car right behind the number 43. As Richard Petty continues to work on the 3rd place car of Buddy Baker. Here's the 1st place car, the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. Mark Martin right behind. Buddy Baker is 3rd, and here is the battle for 3rd place. Here comes Richard Petty. He'll be door-to-door with Baker at the start-finish line. Let's see who wins the battle down into turn number 1. Ken Schrader says, I want some of this too. Schrader tries to make the move. Petty gets by Baker, and Schrader gets by Petty. They're door-to-door. They're sideways. They touch. Petty and Schrader mixing it up in turn number 1, out of turn number 1, down to turn number 2. Schrader will win this battle this time around as they shuffle off into turn 2. Wait now, Petty says, I'm coming back, and he comes back. He comes in out of turn 2. Petty goes into 2nd. Richard Petty now takes a look at the lead, and Mark Martin.
All 3 of those drivers looking for the first victories of this season. And Martin looking for the first Winston Cup victory of his career.
Richard Petty, the crowd is on their feet going wild. shaking their hands and cheering the king of stock car racing into that second position. Now, Richard Petty takes a look at Mark Martin. He moves to the outside in turn number 1. Richard Petty now drops in behind. Jeff Bodine behind in third. Ken Schrader runs fourth, and Petty and Martin begin to pull away from the second and third car. Here comes Petty. He looks to the inside of Martin. He moves to the inside of Martin. Richard Petty, the number 43 car, will lead the Miller High Life 500 here in Pocono. Here comes Jeff Bodine. He gets around Martin on the inside.
Get experience coming through, watching what Richard did, taking advantage of it, following through on that open lane.
And we will have a new leader as those cars move down into turn number 3. Richard Petty will lead the field here at Pocono, the 7th annual Miller 500. You're watching Mark Martin make the move on Jeff Bodine. That's the battle for second place. Richard Petty, the red and blue STP Pontiac, comes down to the straightaway. The fans
Here comes Schrader, 3 abreast.
3 abreast for the second spot. Jeff Bodine will lead it. What a race we've got at Pocono. The leader is Richard Petty. The battle is for second. 3 drivers: Mark Martin, Batesville, Arkansas; Chemung, New York's Jeff Bodine; and Ken Schrader out of the Midwest. Here comes Schrader, almost on the bumper of Richard Petty. Ken Schrader, 25, the Folgers coffee machine. Some 2 car lengths now off Petty down the Long Pond straightaway as they'll work over the overpass and into turn number 3. Both cars handled real well, Bob. I just noticed both of them just right down on the bottom of the racetrack.
Although it looks like Richard just looked in the mirror and said, no, that's close enough, I'm going to get away from you. And gapped it out, but as they go into 3, Schrader coming right back in on him again. It's going to be a
Richard Petty.
Petty
pulls around Wallace now, which is a smart move because he can use Wallace as a pick to perhaps get him a little further down the racetrack.
Right.
That's
now,
exactly
they
what
stay
it
side by
is.
side like that. That slows both of them down slightly and allows Richard to get further ahead.
This is what we're talking about when we say experience. Experience is what wins races and has won 7 national championships for Richard Petty. However, Ken Schrader is by no means going to just sit back and let it happen. He is going to push as hard as he possibly can, and that's exactly what he's doing here. He draws up. Apparently, Schrader has got the advantage of horsepower down the straightaway. Now you see Schrader starting to move on the king, Richard. He'll go right by him as Richard moves out and almost lets him by.
To give you an idea of Richard's success.
Now Petty comes back. Petty comes back on the 25 car. They're side by side, headed for turn number 3. Richard Petty, Ken Schrader. Now here comes Wallace. Wallace also moves to the inside of Ken Schrader.
Now that will help Petty.
And hopefully create some kind of a buffer for Richard Petty. However, you don't want to see any of these cars slip and slide as Rusty Wallace will tuck in behind Ken Schrader. And that's the way they'll run across the start-finish line down into turn number 1. Here comes Schrader again.
If Schrader were able to get by Petty, all he would have to do if he won this race is win every race for the next 7.5 years
to get 200
victories.
They're side by side out of turn number 1. Ken Schrader and Richard Petty, the rookie, if you will, against the veteran. And here comes Jeff Bodine, the number 5 car. He's going to get mixed up in it as well.
It looks like they're lined up for a start rather than approaching
Schrader
the final
gets the
50
lead.
miles.
Schrader will lead him off turn 2. Schrader leads him off turn 2. Petty says, I'm coming back. He'll pull up to the side, almost sideways. Petty loses it. Petty loses it. Petty sideways. The 43 car spins. He's down on the apron and into the grass. The caution flag is out. The leader back at the stripe.
There's the caution flag Rusty Wallace wanted. He's got to race Schrader back to the line, try to beat him back. If he can, he is back on the lead lap, and he is not going to make it.
Rusty Wallace will be held off by Ken Schrader as we are working caution number 5. Richard Petty, after a marvelous run this afternoon, loses the car in coming out of turn 2, trying to stay in that 4-car fight that was going on for the lead. Rusty Wallace was the spoiler in that group of cars. Petty loses it, could not hold on to it.
There's the
lost it
pit road. As almost all your leaders are in. The first one diving in was Bodine, but also Waltrip's in, Phil Parsons, Davey Allison, Bobby Hillen, Mark Martin, Michael Waltrip, Buddy Baker, Morgan Shepherd. All the cars in. Those that didn't pit this time will almost certainly pit.
Looks like Bodine's out first. Looks like Bodine's going to get away first.
Right, so he'll be, if the others do pit, he'll be back at the head of the line. He'll be leading after this pit sequence.
Bodine and Waltrip, 2 of the quick ones out. 55 car is in and out. 28 car, 29 car. The caution flag is out here at Pocono International Raceway. We'll be back with more action in the Miller High Life 500 right after this message.
They're the biggest, most powerful monster trucks in the world, unleashing their awesome power in the hottest new home video, Return of the Monster Trucks. It's raw action on the first monster truck obstacle course ever, with Bigfoot, USA 1, Monster Vet, Rolling Thunder, and more. Plus exciting side-by-side car-crushing drag racing, unbelievable truck crushing. See Awesome Kong crush a mobile home. If you like the original Battle of the Monster Trucks, you'll love Return of the Monster Trucks. You won't believe your eyes as these monsters of the Midway take to the water, and much, much more. You've got to experience the ultimate crushing power and thundering action in this all-new video. Return of the Monster Trucks. It's not available in stores, so order yours today. It's dynamite. Call now, 1-800-554-7800 to get your copy of Return of the Monster Trucks for just $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Order now and get a Monster toy truck at no extra cost. This awesome video is available only through this special offer. So call now, 1-800-554-7800. Save COD charges by using your Visa or MasterCard. Call now.
Bodine working down towards turn number 3 here in Pocono, and he'll come back on this 3,000-plus foot drag strip they call the front stretch here at Pocono. Jeff Bodine, the Levi Garrett Chevrolet, shows the way here as we're headed towards less than 50 laps left here on the Pocono Raceway.
1.4-second lead for Bodine at the end of that first green flag lap on this restart.
55 car in the pits. That's Phil Parsons. Here's the leader, the number 5, Levi Garrett Chevrolet of Jeff Bodine. He has had it his way almost all day long. Now a battle shaping up between Buddy Baker and the 25 car of Ken Schrader. Buddy Baker and Ken Schrader. That is a battle for 4th. Buddy Baker trying to hold on to 4th. Ken Schrader working on the outside as they exit turn number 2. Buddy Baker now losing a position to the number 88 car. Here are 2 lap cars. This is 27 of Rusty Wallace. Here's the battle for 4th. Baker on the inside, Schrader to the outside. Mike Waltrip also in the middle of that battle. Michael Waltrip running in the 6th spot. A great run for that Country Time Pontiac this afternoon in Pocono. He tucks in behind Schrader. Baker will have the advantage as they go past the stripe.
And Bodine lengthens lead 1.8 seconds over second place Darrell Waltrip, who just a little while ago was a lap down, but made it up on that caution and is now up there in position to challenge for a victory.
Both Darrell Waltrip and Richard Petty both made up a lap on a caution flag earlier this afternoon. Petty now, of course, out of it after his spin over in turn number 2. There is Kyle Petty along with Morgan Shepherd and Mark Martin. Kyle Petty, Morgan Shepherd, and Mark Martin. Martin running in the 3rd position right now on the scoreboard. It's a great run for him this afternoon. That Jack Roush team led by Steve Meal has really been dynamite.
For the first year on the circuit, coming in as well as they have, they're coming on.
You know, and he may be a candidate, Bob, this afternoon for a Goodyear Achievement Award, which goes to that outstanding run by someone who has not really had that many outstanding runs. I think Mark Martin certainly will be a candidate.
And I'd have to throw Mike Waltrip's name in the hat. He's still up in there. He's running hard. That team is really coming together this year. I think he's another likely candidate for the Goodyear Achievement Award. We'll be voting on that a little bit later in the broadcast.
And you really have to salute Goodyear for posting $1,000, and it is a well-deserved award. And I'm sure that any one of those drivers, Mark Martin, Mike Waltrip, would certainly be candidates this afternoon for it.
Right, and we'll have to see what the rest of the race. We're in the final quarter now, and see what else develops here. Jeff Bodine certainly has been no slouch.
No, and here we're watching another man that has been in contention all afternoon. That is Darrell Waltrip, the 17 car. Kyle Petty draws a bead on him. He'll go past Waltrip. Kyle Petty, that is not a battle on the racetrack, however. That is not a battle on the racetrack. It is simply
on the racetrack, just not a battle for position.
Certainly, exactly. Waltrip runs in the 2nd spot, and it makes sense to go ahead, and if Kyle is going to put that down, if you don't let Kyle go by, he will hold on to the 2nd spot. Your leader is Jeff Bodine. This is Pocono International Raceway. It's the 7th annual Miller 500, some $478,120 available this afternoon for this great field of stock cars. Jeff Bodine is the leader. Let's take this time out right now. The action will continue in the Miller High Life 500 at Pocono International Raceway right after these messages.
All
All week long, you've been thinking about today. It's race day. Time to kick back and taste the high life. Now the sun's hot. The Miller High Life's cold. The cars are ready. And so are you. Stop and taste the high. Miller High Life.
156 laps on the board here at Pocono International Raceway. You're watching the leader, Jeff Bodine, the number 5, Levi Garrett Chevrolet, leading the 7th annual Miller High Life 500.
And the caution's out. 6 times this afternoon. This time our pole sitter, Alan Kulwicki, erupting with a lot of smoke over in the tunnel turn 2, limping on around. The caution's out. The leaders have taken it.
And who may get the cool move of the race award? Bodine at speed dove into the pits as soon as he saw that yellow flag.
He may have been premature, though. We'll have to wait and see how it turns out.
There's Darrell Waltrip, the second place car.
There's still 43 laps to go in this race, and that's over 100 miles. Questionable if they can make it the rest of the way.
Here's the battle. The battle is in the pits. The battle is between the first and the second car. The 5 car of Jeff Bodine, the 17 of Darrell Waltrip. Crews both working on the left side. Bodine pulls away. Waltrip pulls away, and Bodine will win that battle, and it may be simply due to the way they were running on the racetrack. He got in first, he got out first.
4-tire change on both, too.
Yes, 4-tire change on both cars. Well, again, and you talk about strategy here. Bodine has been a part of this in the past. He has gone down to the final wire and lost here at Pocono. He will probably, I would think maybe some of these cars might come in and top off the gasoline if we're going to stay under caution for a few more laps, because every little bit counts. However, we're showing 158 laps on the board, so we're right at the edge of whether or not you can go the entire distance. It just depends. Could we get another caution flag? If not, how well and how much gas mileage are you getting from your machine?
We're right on the window now. It would be 105 miles to the checkered from here. It would be marginable because they're flat, and we understand the field will be given 1 lap to go when they cross the line, this time completing lap 160 or the 400-mile distance.
The beautiful Pontiac pace car, the Grand Prix, brings the field down. Kim Schrader right behind.
And the 30 car, Phil Parsons coming in. And
Jeff Bodine will top off the gas tank.
Top off.
Now, will Waltrip stays out. Bodine will come in. Oh, he's going to change tires. A problem on Bodine's car, he will change the right side tires.
Freshest rubber possible for this distance.
Well, maybe. Or maybe the tires that he's got on there were not the set they originally wanted to have on to begin with.
To go for the finish.
Correct. That is an interesting story. You see the Levi Garrett crew working now on the left side. They're going to change all 4.
This race is going to come down to a 100-mile shootout here. The final 100 miles will be when they take the green flag this time.
We will get a green flag this time by. You see the number 5, Levi Garrett Chevrolet, being pulled back out onto the pit road, heading out to rejoin the field for the start. The field is right down out of turn number 1 at this time. Pontiac pace car leads them away. The lights on top, which always indicate, if they're off, it indicates we're going to go green next time by, and that is exactly the position they're in now.
And Bodine will be coming up on the back of the field. He's got to get past all those cars, at least the cars on the lead lap, if he wants to get back to the front.
Interesting strategy.
Ken Schrader is in front, Buddy Baker running second.
Let's quickly go down and for Bill Hennessy.
What has occurred here in the pit area? We're going to try to get Waddell Wilson over here very quickly. Waddell brought the car back in. Waddell, you took the scuffs off and went with 4 sticker tires and filled him up with fuel. It looks like it's marginal. Can you go the distance?
Well, that wasn't the reason we stopped. When we changed tires, he went back out and had a vibration, and we didn't know which tire, so we had to change all 4 of them. But that gives us a chance to fill the car up naturally, but I still don't think we can make it.
Why did you go to the stickers rather than scuffs?
We had the stickers. We've been running stickers all day.
Okay, that's the word from Waddell Wilson here for the 5 car that has led a lot of this race and has been up front.
Well, that's exactly what we thought, Bob. We thought maybe it was a vibration, something wrong with that set of tires. And really, these drivers can get a feel for that, even running caution laps trying to catch up.
And the green is out.
Green flag at Pocono. We're getting down to showtime in the Miller High Life 500. Ken Schrader shows the way, the number 25 car, and it's a beautiful scrambling for position as the field shuffles off down in turn number 1.
3, 4, 5 abreast as they hustle down there into that first turn.
Schrader will lead it. There you see Bodine. He's got a long way to go to catch the front of this field. Waltrip may have a problem. Darrell Waltrip may have a problem. He looked to be pulling away or falling off the field. The 25 car of Schrader now feeling the heat from the number 9. Number 9, Coors Melling Ford of Bill Elliott. There he passed Rick Wilson moving slowly there on the apron. Your leader is the number 25 car of Ken Schrader. Bill Elliott now begins to make a move on the leader. That is a battle for the lead. Waltrip had some problems on the start. Here comes Bill Elliott out of Dawsonville, Georgia. That is the Coors Melling Ford. He will not be in the lead. That is a battle back. It brings him up to about the 9th spot. He is now on the tail end of the lead lap. Elliott is now on the tail end of the lead lap as Ken Schrader shows the way out front at Pocono.
With Buddy Baker coming along about 20 car lengths back in second, and he is followed closely by Darrell Waltrip and Davey Allison up in that battle.
I don't know what happened to Waltrip. He appeared on the restart. As they came out of turn 1, the car just looked like it fell backwards. Now he's got it fired up again, and he starts to draw a bead on Buddy Baker. There is your lead car. That is the 25 car. Bill Elliott is on the tail end of the lead lap. Now, if we could get a caution flag here, obviously that would put Elliott back on the lead lap completely, but he would be on the tail end when they lined up. There is your leader, the 25 car, Ken Schrader. Fenton, Missouri, his home. And now we look a little further back in the pack. That is the 27 of Rusty Wallace, the 6 car of Mark Martin, and the 75 car of Neil Bonnet. Waltrip, there is your third place car. Your third place car, Darrell Waltrip, who begins to draw a bead on Buddy Baker. Baker runs in the 2nd spot, and that would be another popular win.
Very much so.
Buddy Baker would be a very popular win in that Red Baron pizza machine.
Because Buddy now co-owns that team with Danny Schiff. Schiff's home over here in New Jersey, not too far from the beautiful Pocono mountain area. And Baker is looking for his first victory as an owner. He's had a lot as the driver, but he still wants to have one as an owner.
There is the battle for third place. Darrell Waltrip, the 17, tied bright orange, yellow, and white machine, going towards Buddy Baker's number 88 Red Baron Pizza sponsored machine. Buddy Baker, old Leadfoot, if you will. If he's got the muscle under him, Baker is a hard man to pass. And you can even imagine as wide as this straightaway is here in the front of Pocono, Buddy Baker can look like completely that wide, but when you're trying to get around him.
If the car isn't wide enough, he'll just stick his arms out there long enough to block the whole front stretch.
Here comes the leaders. 25, Ken Schrader shows the way down by the start-finish line. Second place car, Buddy Baker. 17, Darrell Waltrip runs in third, while Mark Martin holds down the 4th spot. The field moves down out of turn number 1 now. Jeff Bodine is up to 5th. Bodine is up to 5th.
So the Rick Hendrick cars are running 1st, 3rd, and 5th at this point.
Well, with the luck that they've had this year, it was time to turn around, and this may be the race that it all turns around. There's Darrell Waltrip, 3-time Winston Cup champion. Draws a bead on one of the best stock car racers there's ever been, Buddy Baker. Baker noted for his super speedway ability, not so much for his short track ability, but his super speedway ability, and certainly it qualifies him here to be a contender for the checkered flag. Darrell Waltrip holds his position behind Baker. Here's the leader, 25 car, Ken Schrader.
Just a second lead now, but a second is a long, long way on this track
Waltrip.
and in this
Waltrip
competition.
moves on Baker. Waltrip moves on Baker down in turn 1. Waltrip, I think, will take over the 2nd position.
And does.
Darrell Waltrip moves into the 2nd spot. Here comes Jeff Bodine. He draws a bead behind Morgan Shepherd, filling in for Harry Gant, who's back in Taylorsville, North Carolina, recovering from an injury he suffered in Charlotte. There is the 2nd and 3rd place cars. Darrell Waltrip runs in the 2nd spot. Buddy Baker 3rd. Mark Martin should be in the 4th spot with Jeff Bodine right behind. Here comes Baker starting to move on Waltrip. Baker pulls to the inside of Darrell Waltrip. It's the 88 against the 17, and Baker will get the position.
Tit for tat.
Baker gets the position. He moves back into the 2nd spot.
You pass me, I'll pass you. How you like that, big boy?
And here's where he's got to catch to win this one. Here is Ken Schrader. The sight you're seeing is the number 88 of Buddy Baker. Baker currently runs in the 3rd position. The leader is Ken Schrader. Schrader in the first spot with Darrell Waltrip in the 17 car in second. Buddy Baker putting on an absolutely great show this afternoon.
Right, and just while we've been talking, Baker's gotten around and is now in second spot. But the fastest car on the racetrack appears to be Bill Elliott. He passed the leader on the restart after that last caution flag and has moved out to 2.6 second advantage now. He is on the lead lap. He is hoping for a caution to be able to come around and get back in and be in the battle for the victory, not just to be on the lead lap.
There's the leader, Ken Schrader, followed by the lap car of Rusty Wallace and Kyle Petty. Rusty Wallace will move around Schrader here.
And back on the lead lap.
And back on the tail end of the lead lap. Schrader is in the 25 car, which has a history of victories here at Pocono. Tim Richmond, of course, drove that car to victory quite a few times here at Pocono. Schrader is getting the same abilities this afternoon as Schrader is in the #1 spot. Once again, we told you a little earlier that Bobby Allison did have an incident earlier today over in turn #1. It was the first caution flag we had this afternoon. The latest word that we had from NASCAR was that Allison had broken a rib but was in stable condition, and apparently that is a good sign.
They did use the helicopter they have here at the racetrack to move him to the hospital for treatment and
battle for the lead.
And a battle for first place.
Battle for the lead. Jeff Bodine, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip, and Ken Schrader. Is going to be a sandwich going into #1. Schrader's in the middle. Bodine gets the spot. Baker drops in behind, and Waltrip says, no, I want it too. Schrader almost loses the car as Darrell Waltrip will take over the second spot.
And
Schrader had to get
Cup racing is all
had
about.
to get out of the throttle. They completely shut him out going down in turn #1, and Kenny Schrader's lucky he didn't lose it into the wall.
And he's still a little slow.
He may have flat spotted those tires. He may have slid up there on the wall.
Or he may have a tire problem or another problem. He just pushed way up the racetrack.
Ken Schrader. Let's look at it again on the replay. This is such a great watch now. We see Schrader taking the car. He just couldn't steer it. He just couldn't steer it, Bob.
Well, you see he's up there in that speedy drive. From the earlier incidents today, the engines and the trouble they've had down there, the speedy drive blows up the track.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look from another angle. Here we go. Here's the three cars. Buddy Baker on the outside, Schrader in the middle, Bodine on the inside, and Waltrip watching it happen. Here, Bodine moves up, almost cuts Schrader off, and Baker comes in right behind. I don't think he got tapped. I think he just lost it.
He's up there in the marbles and look at him coming. He's now in the pits.
He flat spotted all the tires. Oh, there you saw the front blowout. You saw the front right tire on Schrader's car blow out. And obviously flat spotted him when he made this move down in turn #1.
You see the smoke off the brakes. They're
what
so hot.
What a tough break this is going to be for Harry Hyde and this Rick Hendrick crew. They have run so well this afternoon. We just had told you how well this 25 car performs here at Pocono. It will not be a victory for Ken Schrader this afternoon. 21.51 seconds for the pit stop. And what a tough break, Bob.
Well, that could be a lifetime in this business.
Yes, it could. Yes, it could. We won't say never because we've seen things that we thought were never that did come about. Your leader on the racetrack now should be the #5 car of Jeff Bodine with Darrell Waltrip in second.
And 21, the Kyle Petty car has gotten back on the lead lap, as has Rusty Wallace in the 27 car. So we're shaping up again for a phenomenal, fantastic Pocono finish.
Let's run down the leaderboard as we have it right now. Jeff Bodine's first, Darrell Waltrip second, Buddy Baker third, Michael Waltrip, what a run, fourth place so far. Davey Allison is fifth, Mark Martin is sixth, seventh is Phil Parson, eighth is Ken Schrader, ninth is Bill Elliott, and Rusty Wallace rounds out the top 10. There are your first and second leaders. First place.
And
now we see the tire that just came off of Ken Schrader's car. Exploded the tire.
When he locked up the brakes, he just scuffed right through it.
He did.
And we heard it detonate all the way up here.
A tough break. A real tough break. There are the leaders. Jeff Bodine. A marvelous run for him this afternoon. Darrell Waltrip. Both of these drivers have to be commended for the consistency that they've run this racetrack. That is what wins races. You've got to get around this racetrack consistently, the same place, the same line, every time in order to run up front.
And it's difficult here, more difficult than a lot of the regular ovals we run where the turns are the same. All three turns here are different. Not just different banking, but different radiuses. You approach them differently. You have different time in the turn. So it's just a difficult track, not only to drive, but also a hard one for the crew to set up and get the outcome. They make the car work well in all three corners.
One of the things that we'll be talking about a little bit later on this afternoon and voting on, myself, Bill Hennessy, and Bob Latford, is our Goodyear Achievement Award. Now, that award will be based on one of the drivers who not necessarily always runs up front, but gets an opportunity. And certainly this afternoon, $1,000 will be awarded to one of these drivers, and we'll make that nomination and award that Achievement Award, the Goodyear Achievement Award, a little bit later on. Right now, the leaders are on the front stretch. Darrell Waltrip and Jeff Bodine.
We have a question going from scoring. They're saying that 27 did beat the leader back to the line, the last caution flag, and may indeed be the leader of this race. We'll try and get verification on that.
Well, once again, let me try to paint that picture for you in case you just joined us. We have been calling the 5 and the 17 the leaders. They are certainly within the top 3. The question was, on the last caution flag, did Rusty Wallace beat those cars back to the line? If so, he has passed both Bodine and the 17 of Darrell Waltrip, and Rusty Wallace indeed could be leading this race. We will try to get an update from NASCAR scoring as quickly as possible. There you see either the first or second place car, as it be, with Jeff Bodine and Darrell Waltrip. There is Rusty Wallace. Now, whether or not he is leading or not, we'll come back after commercial and see.
We just checked with the NASCAR.
Let's take this time out right now. The action will continue. The Miller High Life 500 at Pocono International Raceway right after this message. Welcome back to Pocono International Raceway. This picture tells a lot of the story. The 27 car of Rusty Wallace is the leader. 183 laps in the book. Less than 15 laps remaining as we'll make 200 for our final pass this afternoon. Wallace leads Jeff Bodine. There are your two leaders as they shuffle off down into turn number 1.
Just 0.3 of a second separating those first two.
There you
and
see,
they have run hard all day.
There you see Bodine's car once again not working. There's a shot of Waddell Wilson and the Levi Garrett crew as they basically are helpless at this point.
Crewman Dan Ford there on the right.
A lot of strategy being discussed amongst the Levi Garrett crew right now. The driver Jeff Bodine of the second place car trying to catch the 27 of Rusty Wallace.
Are they sitting back there riding in the vacuum or the draft of the 27 car, trying to conserve fuel, trying to make it just over 100 miles from their last stop?
Well, there's one thing for sure. There are not that many laps left. And given that factor, given the factor that Bodine's tires are fresher than Wallace's, he did change and go to 4 sticker tires on the last pit stop that he had. I think, to be honest with you, Bob, the big variable may be fuel. It may be fuel, and I guess Bill Hennessy is looking around down there to make sure that to see if the gas tanks are full, and if they are up on the wall, someone may have to duck into the pits quickly just to finish this race. But you're watching your lead 2 cars, the 27 of Wallace, the 5 of Bodine.
Right, and there have been teams who have tried this strategy and miscalculated by a half a lap, a third of a lap, and you just cannot coast as close as this competition is. You may only be a third of a second or quarter of a second or 0.8 of a second behind.
Well, I question too. We've watched Bodine as he works out of turn 2, the 2 leaders, Wallace and Bodine. I question whether or not Jeff is pushing that car as hard as he can based on the way the car is reacting down in turn 1. He appears to have enough horsepower to stay where he is behind Wallace, but every time he's drawn close to Wallace to try to make the move, he's had to be, he's forced to because his car will not handle well. He can't seem to get around him. First and second cars. There's Rusty Wallace and Jeff Bodine. They head for turn number 1. That's the lap car of Kyle Petty running ahead of them. Kyle Petty should be in the 11th spot right now. But those are your 2 leaders.
25% of the field are still on the lead lap as we're down inside the last 15 laps of this event.
Bodine now is maybe having some sort of problem. Bodine is falling off a little bit. He was very, very close to Wallace for quite some time. Now I question as to how close he actually is. That is the second place car.
It's about double the interval between he and the leader.
Something is amiss on Jeff Bodine's car. Here is the leader.
But there's no activity showing in his pit.
Rusty Wallace is the leader. Bodine may be just trying to conserve tires, but while that's happening, Rusty Wallace is scampering away here at Pocono. Let's take you back in the field quickly. quickly. Rusty Wallace is your leader. Second place is Jeff Bodine. The third place car, Mark Martin. A great run this afternoon. 28, Davey Allison is fourth. Fifth is Michael Waltrip. Sixth is Buddy Baker. Seventh is Darrell Waltrip. Eighth is Phil Parsons. Ninth is Ken Schrader. And rounding out the top 10 is Bill Elliott. Kyle Petty is in the 11th spot. Neil Bonnet is the 12th spot. And let's go down to Bill Hennessy in the pit area.
Pat, sometimes you have to roll the dice to win a race, and I think that's what's going to happen right here this afternoon. Rusty Wallace, they're going to try to lead him out as long as they can, but they say apparently he will come in within 5 laps. Jeff Bodine, headed by Juan L. Wilson, earlier today they went 40-some laps without stopping. The last time they were in was on lap 159 before they went back green. There's a chance that he will slow up just a hair, conserve the tires, conserve some fuel, and try to go the distance.
Thank you, Bill Hennessy, and that certainly explains why Bodine may be not just riding, but certainly not taxing the car at this moment. Strategy is everything, Bob Latford, and it certainly seems like this one is beginning to unfold here. If, in fact, the leader, Rusty Wallace, is going to have to pit. We're on lap 188 right now of 200. We've got 12 laps left in this great Miller High Life 500 this afternoon. This certainly would go into Bodine's favor at that point.
Right, the strategy, this game has been referred to as the fastest, noisiest chess game in the world.
Rusty Wallace may be off the pace a little bit. Rusty Wallace may be getting ready to pit. Let's watch now as he sweeps out of turn number 2, heads toward turn number 3. Bodine starts to close the gap. And let's see if Rusty Wallace is going to choose to pit. Rusty Wallace, the leader.
And as Bill Hennessy said a moment ago, they will pit in the next 5 laps when they can do it.
Let's see. Rusty Wallace comes out of turn number 3. He'll stay out on the racetrack this time. Let's go back to Bill Hennessy.
Rusty Wallace crew is poised and stationed on the pit lane. They're ready to go over the wall if necessary. But Rusty Wallace may be also playing a cat and mouse game with Jeff Bodine. Both of them are having to gamble here in the last 10 laps.
Yes.
Bill Hennessy, thank you very much. That obviously could be a cat and mouse game. We'll come back with a finish. The action will continue in the Miller High Life 500 at Pocono International Raceway after this message. We're back at Pocono International Raceway. Pat Patterson, Bob Latford, and Bill Hennessy. These are the leaders. Rusty Wallace, the 27 car, less than 10 laps remaining in this great Miller High Life 500. The question now, will Wallace pit? He is coming to the pit. Wallace comes to the pit. Bodine takes over the lead.
Relinquishing that lead.
Jeff Bodine's strategy may have paid off right here in Pocono as Rusty Wallace will be forced to pit. This makes the second place car on the racetrack, Mark Martin, the number 6 car, as he is battling with Davey Allison right now for the second spot. There's the pit stop.
Only 7.2 seconds.
7.2 seconds will probably be the difference in winning and losing here at Pocono. The strategy that Bodine has played by taking the sticker tires earlier may have paid off. Now, questionably, can Bodine go the distance?
Right, that's
he may have pushed his car. We are in lap 191.
There was only 1 lap difference in their pit stops last time. So it's going to be interesting to see, does Bodine have to come in this time?
Jeff Bodine is the leader. Jeff Bodine is the leader. Rusty Wallace gave up the lead because of a fuel stop. He had to have fuel to finish. Here is Darrell Waltrip. Darrell Waltrip running back in the top 10, the number 17 car. The leader on the racetrack is the number 5 of Jeff Bodine,
who has a good lead over Mark Martin in second. Davey Allison in third, may be coming in this time. His pit crew appears ready.
The number 5 car of Jeff Bodine is the leader.
He went on by.
The 20. Here's the second and third place battle. Davey Allison has gotten around Mark Martin. Davey Allison has moved into the second spot. There is the leader of the Miller High Life 500 here at Pocono. Jeff Bodine out of Chemung, New York. Consistent all day long with his laps. Waddell Wilson prepared motor. The question is, can he go the distance?
Chevrolet in front.
Can he go the distance, or will Mark Martin pick up his first win, or Davey Allison pick up their first win of the 88 season? Jeff Bodine sweeps down into the number 3 turn now. The Levi Garrett yellow and white machine of Bodine. The Rick Hendrick owned and operated car. Waddell Wilson, the crew chief. Bodine comes by this time. We'll put lap number 194 in the books. 194, 7 laps to go here at Pocono. They're on their feet for
Davey
the end
Allison
of this
and Mark Martin both in.
Okay, the battle for second and third has just come up on the pit road. Mark Martin in the 6 car, the 28 car of Davey Allison. That is the second and third battle.
And that's going to shift young Mike Waltrip up to second place in this race.
Could Mike Waltrip have the best finish of his career today? Everything's up in the air as Bodine has the lead. Bodine heads down toward turn number 2. The sweeping left-hander that'll take him down to turn 3, and we'll put 194 laps up on the board as the cars come by. There'll be 6 laps to go this time by. Jeff Bodine, a very, very good afternoon for him this afternoon as he has stayed so consistent. The question is, though, Bob Latford, has he got enough fuel to finish this one out?
That's what we're not sure of. I'm not sure if they're sure of it. I think they're in a position they don't want to take a chance.
Kyle Petty dives on the pit road.
Right, and Mark Martin won that battle between he and Davey Allison on that last stop.
Michael Waltrip runs in the second spot, but there is your leader, Jeff Bodine. Just 5 or so laps away from victory here in the Miller High Life 500 at Pocono.
That back end still trying to come around on him. He's still loose.
Now, I question, but Bodine has really gotten good tire wear this afternoon. They put 4 brand new tires on the last caution flag. He chased Rusty Wallace as hard as he could. There's the Purelator Ford of Derek Cope. Having a tough afternoon this afternoon. Young Derek Cope, a great driver off the West Coast. 5 leads the 30 car right now. The number 5 car of Jeff Bodine is the leader. 194 laps are complete at Pocono. As we get down to the final laps, Jeff Bodine is your leader.
And he is in turn 3, coming around for the 5 lap to go signal.
Bodine has got to feel like, what can go wrong? He's been here so many times this year with 5 laps to go as he crosses the start-finish line. He has seen strange things happen to him in just a few laps. We're going to stick around to see if that's going to happen again. Jeff Bodine just 4 or so laps away from the lion's share of $478,000 up for grabs here in Pocono in this Miller High Life 500.
This is the part of the race where the drivers say, when you're leading, you can hear every rattle and tingle and bang and bump in the car.
No doubt about it.
Scares you.
No doubt about it. And you can say about 16 guys down there that look just like the paint scheme on that car in those bright Levi Garrett uniforms are holding their breath as well. Jeff Bodine, can he win his first race of the 1988 season? He's a former Daytona 500 champion. He's battled Dale Earnhardt all year long. He looks like he's got an opportunity to put the first win on the board this afternoon at Pocono. Bodine, the car slides just ever so slightly as he's out of turn number 3 and back to the stripe. Harold Kinder reaches down and will show him 4 laps to go. 4 more rotations around this particular racetrack for him to pick up a win. The last win for Bodine was in 1986 at Dover. Dover, Delaware in 1986. It has been a very dry spell for Jeff Bodine.
Right, and also it's been a dry spell for a while for Waddell Wilson, one of the most noted engine builders, crew chiefs.
Absolutely.
They teamed up this year after last year with Darrell Waltrip. Wilson went with the Bodine team under the Hendrick umbrella this year, and they're trying to put together their first victory. Waltrip got their first at Charlotte in May in the 600.
There you see Kathy Bodine. Kathy Bodine in the pits. She's happy and she's holding her breath as she watches her husband come around, and we'll get the 3 lap to go signal. 196 laps in the board. You also saw Jeff Bodine's brother, Brett Bodine's wife, Diane, also standing there. Jeff Bodine brings it out of turn number 3 as we're down to the last few laps. He'll get the signal from Harold Kinder. 3 laps to go. 3 more rotations. The attendance today is unbelievable. 90 96,000 fans at Pocono for this Miller High Life 500. They're all on their feet.
And they have all seen a great show.
They really have. And give a call to the second place runner, Mike Waltrip. Michael Waltrip, the Country Tom Pontiac, has played his strategy right as he has ended up right up there next to Jeff Bodine. And who knows, you only got a couple laps left. He could be a winner here this afternoon.
In our scenario, that would be my vote for the
Goodyear. Yeah, I think I'll concur with you on that. He is definitely my candidate for the Goodyear Achievement Award.
We'll have to get Bill Hennessy's vote, and it could turn out to be unanimous. We'll find out in just a moment.
Now, what you see is not a pass for the lead. Elliott is a lap down. The 9 car just went around the number 5 of Jeff Bodine. Bodine is still the leader. Bodine is still the leader as they will exit turn number 3 back to the stripe. And one more time, Harold Kinder will stick that finger down there.
Good to go.
2 laps to go. 2 laps to go for Jeff Bodine. Chemung, New York native, has not won a race since 1986. Let's quickly go down to Bill Hennessy.
Well, you were voting for a Goodyear Achievement Award. My vote would actually go for one of 2 guys, Rusty Wallace or Mike Waltrip. Mike Waltrip, not the fastest car out here, but certainly Bill may end up with his best ever speedway finish. My vote would have to go for him if he can hang in there and finish in second place or even in the top 5.
Well, I think that makes it unanimous. Bill Hennessy, Mike Waltrip will be our Goodyear Achievement Award winner this afternoon in the Miller High Life 500. There is your leader, Jeff Bodine. Bodine with only 1 lap remaining. He'll get the white flag from Harold Kinder as he exits turn number 2, heads off into turn number 3.
And Mike Waltrip is closing. It was a 15.2 second margin. Now it's just down to 10.6.
You're absolutely correct. Waltrip
if that
is
car
coming on.
sputters, we could have a brand new winner on this circuit.
1 lap to go. Here is the battle shaping up out of turn number 3. Jeff Bodine driving the Levi Garrett Chevrolet. Mike Waltrip quite a distance behind, and it's questionable as to whether or not he can catch it. This is the last time around for Jeff Bodine. Out of turn number 1, Bodine takes a nice smooth sail down the Long Pond straightaway to that sweeping left-hand tunnel turn. Bodine holding his breath now. He could be going to victory lane for the first time since 1986. Waddell Wilson and all of the Rick Hendrick crew have awaited this moment for quite some time. He's only halfway from victory here in the Miller High Life 500. Bodine now moves down across into turn number 3. Jeff Bodine, the former Daytona 500 winner, hasn't won since 1986. He comes out of turn number 3. The crowd is on their feet. Jeff Bodine will win it this afternoon here at Pocono, the Miller High Life 500.
A tremendous victory, and now coming down the front stretch.
And
Mike Waltrip from go-karts through the Baby Grand Division.
The best finish of his Winston Cup career, second here.
8.23 seconds, the margin of victory.
And there you see Kathy Bodine. Kathy Bodine hugging her sister-in-law, Diane, and they are excited. Maybe a moment that they didn't think was coming again, but obviously it's happened. Let's go to Bill Hennessy.
Well, Pat, they are ecstatic. There are tears of joy here. Kathy, you kept saying we're going to roll those dice, and hopefully we're going to come up with the right number, and looks like you did.
Yeah, thank God. I don't know what to say. I'm so happy. Jeffrey's probably in tears more than we are in the car. You should have heard him. I wish you could have heard him on the radio.
Well, congratulations. It's Father's Day here, and I know you're quite happy about this.
Yeah, we're ecstatic. Barry, this one was for you, baby. I hope you're watching.
Well, pandemonium and joy here down in the pits of Jeff Bodine.
Let's take this time out right now. The action will continue, and we'll meet the winner of the Miller High Life 500 right after this message from your local station.
I know you never lost hope and never lost faith. You had one good.
Fans here at Pocono for this great afternoon of stock car racing. The Miller High Life 500 has concluded. We have a great winner down in Victory Lane. Let's go now to Bill Hennessy.
Well, our man who has won is still being interviewed by so many people over by the race car, and he also is getting a lot of photographs made. He's on his way in our direction right now, and we're waiting for him, but he's coming through a throng of well-wishers here, and we're trying to get him to come on up and do the TV interview with us at this time, but he's being directed around to the victory podium. And Jeff, what a run it was here. in Victory Lane for you to get here and win this Miller 500.
It was tough. Look at that blister. I mean, that's how hard it was out there. A lot of good competition. Rusty Wallace ran really good. His car was handling good. Kenny Schrader, Waltrip, and Richard Petty had a great run going until he got high in the tunnel turn. And we had enough gas. That was the key. You know, we really couldn't outrun anybody, so we decided let's take a gamble on the fuel. Waddell and the fellas said, let's pit on that last caution. Let's top it off. Change some tires. We had tires vibrating. We had to pit anyway. It was enough gas. It ran out on the pace lap. It's out of gas right now.
Well, you scared about everybody half to death down to your crew. When along the front straightaway, you backed out of the throttle, and they said, oh, my, he's out of gas.
I pushed the clutch in the coast. I was doing everything I could to save fuel. We slowed way down, probably 3 seconds, and I was coasting down this long straightaway, pushing the clutch in just to save fuel, just so we'd have enough. What a great Father's Day for me. I'm a father. For my father, he's here. This one's for him.
Congratulations, Jeff Bodine, on this victory here in the Miller High Life 500.
Thank you.
Jeff Bodine, a great winner here this afternoon, the Miller High Life 500. We have had a great time bringing this one to you, Bob Latford. An absolutely spectacular crowd. Michael Waltrip wins the Goodyear Achievement Award this afternoon, $1,000.
With his best finish of his career, and justifiably so.
We've had a beautiful afternoon, 96,000 fans. We will hopefully be back with you again later on this year. It's been our pleasure bringing this one to you. For Bob Latford and Pat Patterson and Bill Hennessy, thanks for being with us. We look forward to seeing you again on another broadcast soon.
Miller High Life 500 was brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealers. Have you driven a Ford lately? Goodyear Eagle tires. Goodyear, because there really is a difference. Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter, takes time to make, time to enjoy. Purolator, the first name in oil filters. And by Superflow Motor Oil from Exxon, people who know go with the flow.